Good evening, class 9 students.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
children.
ma'am.
Good evening. Yeah, so in the class on Tuesday, I had given you some, material to work out. Let's just discuss the answers before we move into today's class. Yeah. So in question number 1 here, I've shared my screen, children. Is it visible?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right. So children, you can see an equation here. X by 3 plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 3. So now we have to first, so now to represent this equation graphically, you need to first solve this. So the solving part, I remember in one class earlier, I already spoken about this. So on solving, we get x is equal to 3. On solving, we get x is equal to 3. Now, as you can see, x is equal to 3 is a linear equation and one variable x. And its geometrical representation is a point on the number line. X is equal to 3 is a linear equation and one variable x, and its geometrical representation is a point on the number line. So number line, mark this point 3, and that is the representation, the geometrical representation of the equation x is equal to 3. Now, when you treat this one as a linear equation and two variables x and y, then you need to write it like this. X plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0, because x is equal to 3 means x minus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to 3 means x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now there's only one variable x. The variable y is missing. So you need to write it as x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, as you can make out from this itself, x is equal to 3 means x is always 3 for any value of y. This is how you write the equation in two variables. We have x is equal to 3 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, to show this with the two variables x and y, we write it as x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, x is equal to 3 means x is always 3 for any value of y. So you can take any value for y, but x is always 3. Now, supposing we have y is equal to 3. Supposing we have y is equal to 3. That means y is always 3 for any value of x. So x can be 0, minus 3 here, 5, whatever. For whatever values of x, y is always 3. So make a table, an xy table like that. And here, since x is equal to 3, x is always 3 for any value of y. And plot these points in the Cartesian plane. So we have to plot 3, minus 2. 3, minus 2. Here, 3, 0. Here, 3, 1. Here. And connect these 3 points. Connect these 3 points. You can see that the points are collinear. And when you connect them, you get a line. And this line is a geometrical representation of the equation x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. This line is the geometric representation of the equation x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, when you make this graph, the mandatory things are the scale. The scale is very important. On the x-axis, 1 centimeter is 1 unit because you have marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. See, supposing I mark 5, 10, 15, 20 like this. Then the scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 5 units. Why we say 1 centimeter? Because it's a centimeter graph. This one is a centimeter graph. This one is 1 centimeter. This distance is 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter is equal to 5 units in case you mark it like this. If you mark it like this, 5, 10, 15, 20, then you say 1 centimeter is 5 units. Say on the y-axis, you mark 10, 20, 30. So then you must say x-axis, supposing you mark like this, you must say x-axis, 1 centimeter is 5 units, y-axis, 1 centimeter is 10 units. You can take a different scale on the x and y-axis. You can take the same scale or different scales, both are fine. So you must write scale, x-axis, y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 centimeter is equal to. So on the x-axis, supposing you had marked 5, 10, 15, and so on, you should say 1 centimeter is 5 units. And on the y-axis, if you had marked 10, 20, 30, and so on, you must say 1 centimeter is 10 units. 10 units. But in our graph here, on both the axes, every centimeter we have taken as 1 unit. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on both the axes. So the scale is x-axis, y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. So writing the scale, okay, at the right top corner. This is the right side top corner. This one is the right side top corner. So normally the scale is written there. And then you need to mark x, x dash to show the x-axis, y, y dash to show the y-axis. And then you should also write out the points you have plotted. See, we have plotted these 3 points, right? So what is the address of this point? 3, 1. This one, 3, 0. And this one, 3, -2. So whatever points you have plotted, you must also write their address. And then connect the points by a straight line. And you should write the equation. You must write the equation on the line. You must write the equation on the line. You can also write x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. Instead of x is equal to 3, you can also write x plus 0y minus 3 is equal to 0. So these are some mandatory things which has to be shown on the graph paper. I repeat, scale, x, x dash, y, y dash, representing the x and y axis. And you will be plotting 3 points. You must write the address of the points you have plotted. The 3 points you plot will be collinear. You will be able to connect them by the same straight line. They will be collinear. If they're not yeah.
Ma'am, Aniruddhan.
Yes, Aniruddhan.
Ma'am, I came late because of some internet issue.
Okay, actually, I just started, I think, about 5 minutes ago, Aniruddhan. This is the first one.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll share the recording. Just remind me about it. You can, in case those 5 minutes which you have missed, you can just use the recording. All right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was telling you, I was telling you that the 3 points must be collinear. If they are not collinear, supposing you have 2 points here and the third point here, which means you're not able to connect them by the same straight line. That means you've gone wrong somewhere here in the table, or maybe your table is right, but you have not plotted it correctly. Anything could be the mistake. If you are not able to connect the 3 points by a straight line, then you need to check the values on the table. If you have calculated these correctly, if supposing your table is right, then check if you have plotted them correctly. So the 3 points plotted with the address, connect the points by the straight line and write the equation on the line. So this is how we treat a linear equation in one variable x as a linear equation in two variables x and y, and show its geometrical representation. So this is about the first one. So here the question is, draw the graph of the equation 2x minus 3y minus 12 is equal to 0. Where does the graph intersect the x-axis and y-axis? So here what you have to do is, you have to prepare an xy table. You have to prepare an xy table. Okay. And before you do that, take up the equation given to you. Take up the equation given to you and write x in terms of y or y in terms of x. See, you can write it like this. 2x is equal to 3y plus 12. X is equal to 3y plus 12 by 2. Or you can write it as, okay. So you can write it like this. It's minus 3y. So see, a minus 3y is equal to, tell me, minus 3y is equal to, yes, children, minus 3y is equal to
12 minus 2.
Yeah, 12 minus 2x, correct?
2.
So now it's minus 3y. It's minus 3y. So change the signs throughout. Change the signs throughout. Okay, so it will be 3y is equal to, write minus 2x as plus 2x, write plus 12 as minus 12. Since it's minus 3y, change the signs throughout. Minus 3y as plus 3y. Minus 2x as plus 2x. Plus 12 as minus 12. Just change the signs throughout. And you have y is equal to 2x minus 12 divided by 3. You can write it in any one of the two ways, children. So this is writing x in terms of y. This one is writing x in terms of y. And this is writing y in terms of x. Writing y in terms of x. The first one is writing x in terms of y. And the second one is writing y in terms of x. That is, when you write it as x is equal to, then you're writing x in terms of y. When you write y is equal to, then you're writing y in terms of x. So you can write it in any one way. You can write x in terms of y or y in terms of x. Now, supposing you write it like this, you write it like this, x is equal to 3y plus 12 by 2. So you must give different values for y and find the corresponding values of x. You must give different values for y and find the corresponding values of x. So you can give y 0. Supposing y is 0. 3 into 0 is 0. Plus 12 is 12. 12 by 2 is 6. So when y is 0, x is 6. I'll do this again. See here. I'll come from the beginning. Oh, we have this equation 2x minus 3y minus 12 is equal to 0. Now the first step is to write x in terms of y or y in terms of x. So you can write x is equal to 3y plus 12 by 2 or y is equal to 2x minus 12 by 3. Any one of the two. Now supposing you write it as x is equal to 3y plus 12 by 2. You should give different values for y. You must give 3 different values for y and find the corresponding values of x. So when y is 0, when y is 0, it will be 3 into 0, 0, plus 12. So 12 by 2, 6. When y is 0, x is 6. Now sum of the value. Now say y is minus 2. Supposing y is minus 2. So 3 into minus 2. When you take y as minus 2, see here, y as minus 2. 3 into minus 2 is minus 6 plus 12 is 6 by 2 is 3. And supposing you take this minus 4. 3, you take y as minus 4. So it will be minus 12 plus 12. Minus 12 plus 12. So 0. 0 by 2 is 0. So when y is minus 4, x is 0. So like this, you should give different value. You can give any value for y. Don't take very large numbers again, and don't take like a small value like 2 and a large value like 100. Then it will become difficult for you to plot the points on the graph paper. See, on the graph paper, you have limited space. You need to plot the points in that space, right? So you should not have large variations in the points you take. So make sure that you can, like plot the points in the graph paper, meaning don't take a, don't let the points not be spread. Like I told you, don't take y2 and find the value for x, and then take y as 50 and find the value for x, and then y as 100. Then it becomes difficult to choose a scale and plot the points. All right. So like this, you have to give different values for y, find the corresponding values of x. Now you need to plot these points on the graph paper. You need to plot these points on the graph paper. The 3 points will be, you will be able to connect them by the same straight line. And that is the geometrical representation of this equation. So that's what you want to see here. So as I told you, you can see I've written x in terms of y. I have written x in terms of y. Then give different values for y. Okay, give different values for y, work and find the corresponding values of x. You can see here. You must show this working. So I've called this equation 1. Putting y is equal to 0. Putting y is equal to 0 in equation 1, we get. So you'll have to work and find the value of x. So like this, give 3 different values for y, and find the corresponding values of x. And whatever you get here, you put it in the form of a table like this. Make an xy table and write out the points you've got. So you can see here when y is 0, x is 6. Y is 0, x is 6. When y is minus 2, x is 3. Minus 2, x is 3. When y is 2, x is 9. Now plot these points. 6, 0, 3, minus 2, 9, 2. You can see that these 3 points are collinear. Connect the points. It's a line. It's not a line segment. When you connect it, what you get is a line. So use the arrows at either ends and write the equation on it. You can see, write the equation. And the points you've plotted and the scale x, x dash, y, y dash. So we, in the introduction to this chapter, we understood that a linear equation in 2 variables x and y is represented by a straight line in the Cartesian plane and it has infinitely many solutions. A linear equation in two variables x and y has infinitely many solutions. A linear equation in two variables x and y is represented by a straight line in the Cartesian plane, and it has infinitely many solutions. So you can see it now. It is represented by a straight line in the Cartesian plane, and it has infinitely many solutions because every point on this line, see, there are so many points on this line. It's a line. It's a line. It extends indefinitely. So there are so many points. There are so many points on this line. Every point on this line will satisfy this equation. Every point on this line will satisfy this equation. Now, supposing you can see that this line, this straight line, cuts the y-axis at this point and the x-axis at this point. That's also a question. Where does the graph intersect the x-axis and y-axis? You can see the question there. Right? Where does the graph intersect the x-axis and y-axis? So where does it intersect the x-axis? At 6, 0, and y-axis at 0, -4. So the graph intersects the x-axis at the point 6, 0, and the y-axis at the point 0, -4. So it's very, very simple, children. We'll see it again. We are given an equation. Step 1 is to write x in terms of y or y in terms of x. In the working here, you can see that I've written x in terms of y. Then next what? Give 3 different values for y and find the corresponding values of x. And next, make a table, an xy table, and fill these values. Now take a graph paper, show the x and y axis, take a suitable scale, plot the points, connect the points. You will be able to connect them by the same straight line. Once you get the line, write the equation on the line, write the scale, and also the points you have plotted. So this makes your graph complete. And you have other questions to answer. Where does it meet the x-axis? Where does the graph meet the y-axis? So that is visible. Where the line cuts the x-axis is 6, 0, and where the line cuts the y-axis is 0, -4. Any questions, children? Anything that you don't understand?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now you have seen that a linear equation in two variables x and y is represented by a straight line in the Cartesian plane, and since there are infinitely many points on a straight line, a linear equation in two variables x and y has infinitely many solutions because there are infinitely many points on the straight line, and every point on the straight line will satisfy the equation. That is, if you take a point on this line, you take its address and put the x coordinate in place of x and y coordinate in place of y, the equation will be satisfied. Okay, over to the next one. Yeah. Use the equation 3x plus 4y is equal to 7 to write x in terms of y. Now tell me somebody, how do you write x in terms of y? How do we write x in terms of y? X in terms of y means you should write x is equal to. Yeah, tell me, children.
X equals 7 minus 4y by 3.
Yeah, tell me the steps, no?
3x equals 7 minus 4y.
Yeah.
X
So,
equals 7 minus 4y divided by 3.
very good, Swati. Thank you. Yeah. So now when you have the denominator as 3 or a few other numbers like this, I'll tell you, then you should be very careful in giving the values for y, because we have some disadvantages or some inconveniences while plotting the points on the graph paper. Because if you have to plot points like 1 point, if it's supposing it's 10 by 3, the value is 10 by 3, it's 3.333, it goes on like that. It's difficult to plot all this on the graph paper. So on the graph paper, if you want to get the exact straight line, it's better you take points whose x and y coordinates are whole numbers. Or if they're not whole numbers, maybe they're like 2.5, 3.5, 0.5. So that you get the straight line precisely without any deviation. So you always want to take whole numbers. You always want to take points whose x coordinates and y coordinates are whole numbers. It's so convenient to plot something like 4,5. Not whole numbers. Okay, I should say whole numbers and their negatives. So if you have to plot -4, -5, it's so convenient to plot that. On the other hand, if you have to plot 17 by like say 4 and 10 by 3, it becomes difficult to plot. You may not be able to show the point correctly, so you might not get the straight line precisely. So let's see how we can overcome this inconvenience. Listen to this carefully. First, find one value according to our convenience. Now, supposing you take y as 1, y is 1, okay? So 4 into 1 is 4, 7 minus 4 is 3, and 3 by 3 is 1. So when y is 1, so 4 into 1, 4, 7 minus 4, 3, 3 by 3 is 1. When y is 1, x is also 1. Now that you have found the first value of y, children, finding the other values of y will be very convenient. See, now you know that it's easy to plot the point 1, 1. Okay, now the next point, jump in threes. Jump in threes. Don't take 2. Don't take 3. Jump in threes. What is 1 plus 3? What is 1 plus 3? 4. Or you can also take 1 minus 3. See, the denominator is 3, right? The denominator is 3. Find one convenient point to plot. That we have found. Okay, we have found the first one. Now you got, when you take y as 1, x is 1. Now this is convenient to plot 1, 1. Now y is 1 you have taken, right? Now skip count in threes. Jump in threes. You can either add 3 or subtract 3. Anything you do. So supposing you do 1 plus 3. What is 1 plus 3? 4. So take y as 4. Take y as 4, children. Now what is 4 into 4? 16. What is 7 minus 16? What is 7 minus 16? Minus 9. And what is minus 9 by 3? Minus 3. So when y is 4, x is minus 3. See, I got my first value of y as 1. Then I add 3 to it because the denominator is 3. I add 3. I will not take the values 2 and 3. You will not get a good value to plot. So don't go with 2 and 3. Don't try that also. Jump in threes. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now use y as 4. When y is 4, 4 into 4 is 16. 7 minus 16 is minus 9. Minus 9 by 3 is minus 3. When y is 4, x is minus 3. See, it's convenient to plot. Now, you can continue like this. You can take 4 plus 3, 7 as the next number. See here. I'll just make it here for you. So y, you found one value, 1, right? Then add 3, 4, add 3, 7, add 3, 10, add 3, 13. Like this you can go on, or subtract 3. So when you subtract 3, you'll get -2, -3, -5, -3, -8, -3, -7. For all these values of y, you will get convenient values for x. You can choose among any of these values for y. I found my first value of y, 1. Now, after this, I can find as many convenient values. How? By just adding or subtracting 3. Add 3 to this, 4. Add 3, 7. Add 3, 10. Add 3, 13. Subtract 3, -2. 1, -3, -2. -2, -3, -5. -5, -3, -8. -8, -3, -11. For all these values of y, you will get convenient values for x. Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So after taking 1 plus 3, 4, I'm going to take 1 minus 3, which is -2, when y is -2. So when y is -2, what do we get? When y is -2? Yes, children? -4 into -2 is +8. See here, x is equal to 7 minus 4 into -2 by 3. So -4 into -2 is +8. +8 plus 7 is +15. And 15 by 3 is 5. So whenever you have the denominator as 3 or say 7, 11, you should do this. Because not every value will give you a convenient value to plot. So you must find that first value. And from there, if the denominator is 7, you must jump in 7. Meaning you should find the first value, then add 7, find the further values, or subtract 7 and find the further values. All right. So that's what I've done here. So children, this is the first equation, 3x plus 4y is equal to 7. I have written x in terms of y, and it's also mentioned here in the question to write x in terms of y. So I've written x in terms of y. I've given different values for y and found the convenient values for x. Here, when y is 1, then 1 plus 3, 4, 1 minus 3, -2. So for these values of y, find the values, the corresponding values of x. Make the table, plot the points, and get the straight line. So this is the line. This is that line. 3x plus 4y is equal to 7. So this is one part of the question. To write this equation, to take this equation and write x in terms of y and draw the graph of the equation. So we are done there. Now use the equation 3x minus 2y is equal to 1 and write y in terms of x. So take the second equation and write y in terms of x. So this one you can also continue like this, children. Minus 2y is equal to 1 minus 3x. You can change the signs throughout. So what will you get? 2y is equal to 1 will become -1 and minus 3x will become plus 3x. So y is equal to 3x minus 1 by 2. I'll tell you again. This one, you can change the signs throughout. Minus 2y becomes plus 2y. Plus 1 becomes -1. Minus 3x becomes plus 3x. So y is equal to 3x minus 1 by 2. Y is equal to 3x minus 1 by 2. I'll tell you what I have done here. So when this minus 2 comes to the other side, it comes for division. So y is equal to 1 minus 3x by minus 2. So here what I've done is I've changed the signs in the numerator and in the denominator. I've changed the signs in the numerator and in the denominator. See, whatever you do, you should do it in both the numerator and the denominator, or both in the LHS and the RHS. So here what I've done is I've changed the signs in both the numerator and the denominator. So I've written 1 as minus 1, minus 3x as plus 3x, and minus 2 as plus 2. Changing the signs in the numerator and denominator. Write minus 3x as plus 3x, plus 1 as minus 1, and minus 2 as plus 2. In both the numerator and in the denominator, write the opposite signs. Write the same terms with the opposite signs. That's all. So we have written y in terms of x. Now in the same way, here because we have x, you must give different values for x and find the corresponding values of y. Since you have x here, you should give different values for x and find the corresponding values of y and put those values in this xy table and then plot the points. So when you plot the points and join the points, you get this line. You get this line, which is given by the equation 3x minus 2y is equal to 1, the second equation. So we are done with the two lines. Now we are given two equations. We are given two equations and we had to draw the graph of the two equations. Two equations are given to us and we had to draw the graphs. The graph is a straight line. So we had to draw the graphs of the two equations. So since we have one equation, one straight line, two equations, two straight lines. If you have one equation in x and y, one straight line. Two equations in x and y, two different straight lines. Now let's read the further instruction. Shade the region bounded by these two lines with the line x is equal to 0. You need to shade the region bounded by these two lines and the line x is equal to 0. So in all now we have three lines. X is equal to 0 is which line? On which line is x always 0? On which line is x always 0? On the y-axis. So x is equal to 0 is the y-axis. Where is x always 0? X is equal to 0 means x is always 0. Where is x always 0? On the y-axis, x is always 0. Because any point you take, 0, 7. Sorry, minus 7. 0, minus 6. 0, minus 2. 0, 5. So x is always 0 on the y-axis. So the y-axis is the straight line that represents the equation x is equal to 0. So now these are the three lines. And you know, when we have three lines, they'll enclose a triangle. 4 lines can enclose a quadrilateral. 4 lines can enclose a quadrilateral. 3 lines will enclose a triangle. So you need to shade the triangle. Shade the region meaning shade the triangle. Because when you have 3 lines, they'll enclose a triangle. So you need to shade the triangle bounded by these 3 lines. The 2 lines given to you and this line x is equal to 0, which is the y-axis. So you should not get confused. You should not shade this one. This is the triangle. This is the triangle made by the 2 lines and the x-axis. It might be slightly difficult or confusing to shade the triangle. Listen to me, I'll tell you. Now this is one line. This is one line. And you can see this one is a side of the we have shaded this region, right? This region. Why? Because this is the region which is enclosed by the 3 lines. Which are the 3 lines? See here, the y-axis, this line, and this line. Can you see? This is the triangle formed by these three lines. When I drew over the lines, can you make out? This is one line. This is the y-axis. And this is the other line. This is the other line. If you erase these portions, just use an eraser. Just imagine that you're using an eraser and you're erasing these portions. You're erasing these extra portions. These extra portions, if you're erasing these extra portions. If you erase these extra portions, see, this is the triangle. Now, supposing you had to shade the triangle bounded by the two lines and the x-axis, that is y is equal to 0. This is y is equal to 0 because on the x-axis, y is always 0. On the x-axis, y is always 0. So if you had to shade the triangle bounded by the two lines and the x-axis, then it will be this triangle. Then it will be this triangle. See, this is the x-axis. This is the x-axis. This is the part of one line. This is the part of the other line. This is the x-axis. This is the part of the x-axis. This one is a part of this line. And this one is a part of this line. One line, other line, x-axis. You can see that this is the triangle bounded by the two lines and the x-axis. But this is the triangle bounded by the two lines and the y-axis. So the question is to shade the region bounded by the two lines and the y-axis. Shade it and also write the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle. So the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle are this one, and this one. See this one, and this one. So 1, 1. This one is 1, 1. This one is 0, 2. And this one is like 0, minus 0.5. Because it's between 0 and minus 1. It's between 0 and minus 1. It's between 0 and minus 1. So it is minus 0.5. 0, minus 0.5. This point is 0, minus 0.5. I've marked the vertices as A, B, and C. Vertex A, 1, 1. Vertex B, 0, 2. Vertex C, 0, minus 0.5. So this is, children, one question, but the amount of things you've learned from this one question is many. You've learned many things through this one question. So going back to the information, we are given one equation. We were asked to write x in terms of y. Another equation, we were asked to write y in terms of x. So now you understand how to write x in terms of y, y in terms of x. That is one learning. And to make the graphs of these equations, we have to prepare the xy table. In the first case, we had to give different values for y and find the corresponding values of x. In the second one, we had to give different values for x and find the corresponding values of y. And when the denominator is 3, find the first value of y and the corresponding value of x, which is convenient to plot. Once you get that first value of y, the denominator is 3, add 3, subtract 3 to get the other two values. So when you add 3, you get 4. When you subtract 3 from this, you get -2. So when you take these values for y, you will get values for x which are convenient to plot. When the denominator is 2, you don't have to worry so much, because when it's 2, you will either get something like 5 or -5, or you'll get 5.5, -5.5. So with the denominator 2, you don't have to really worry. Then once you prepare the XY tables, you have to plot the points, connect and get the two lines. The other line is x is equal to 0, which is the y-axis. So now we have 3 lines, and we have to shade the triangle bounded by the 3 lines. We did that. And after that, we are asked to write the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle. Vertex, 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 and the coordinates of the vertices. So you can see here, triangle ABC is the triangle formed by the lines, and the vertices are A, B, and C. Okay, I think I just told you this one as 2. So it's not exactly, it's not okay. I didn't notice it properly. This one, children, this one, this one, this point. I said 0 and 2, 0, 2. But it's not passing through 2. We can see that it's not passing through 2. It's somewhere here. So you can just write an approximate value, 0, maybe 1.7 or 1.8. Or if you can clearly see that it passes between 1.7 and 1.8, then you can write 1.75. So that is fine. But you should not write 2, as I told you. I just overlooked it. It doesn't pass through 2 at all. So the coordinates of the vertex B can be 0, 1.7 or 1.8, 1.9. Any of these you will get marks. It's not 2. Correct? It's not 0, 2. It's less than 2. Any questions on this, children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. For what value of P, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3, it's a solution of the equation given there. And write the equation. Okay, so we need to understand what the question means. See, this is an equation. You can see this is an equation. You can see x here, and this is its coefficient, p plus 1. You can see y here, and this is its coefficient, 2p plus 3. See, like, what if you had 5x minus 7y minus 1 is equal to 0. This 5 is this p plus 1. I'm saying, like, for example, okay, this 5x, the coefficient of x is 5. So that 5 is only p plus 1 here. 5x, p plus 1x. So once you get the value of p, supposing p is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5x. And here you have minus 7y. Minus 7 is a coefficient of y. So like minus 7y, here you have minus of 2p plus 3y. This is the coefficient. Once you get the value of p, you can make out the coefficient. Supposing p is 1. So 2 into 1, 2, plus 3, 5, 5y. So since you don't know the value of P, the coefficient looks like this. -1 is equal to 0. See, this one P plus 1 is a coefficient of X. This one is a coefficient of Y, and -1 is equal to 0. So you have an equation, and one solution for this equation is given to you. Why am I saying one solution? Because it's an equation in X and Y. That means it has infinitely many solutions. It's an equation in X and Y, so it has infinitely many solutions. Of those infinitely many solutions, one is given to you, 2, 3 is given to you. So we know that every solution will satisfy the equation. So P plus 1 into 2 minus 2P plus 3 into 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. In place of X, use 2, and in place of Y, use 3. Why? Because it's a solution. X is equal to 2, Y is equal to 3. See, it's the point 2, 3, children. It's the point 2, 3. That's what is given as X is equal to 2, Y is equal to 3. The point 2, 3 it is. So in the equation, in place of X, use 2, in place of Y, use 3. And work it. What do you get? 2P plus 2 minus 6P minus 9 minus 1 is equal to 0. So we have minus 4P minus 8 is equal to 0. Minus 4P is equal to 8. P is equal to minus 2. So the value of P is minus 2. I hope my calculation is correct. Okay. P is minus 2. So now we got the value of P. And write the equation. Write the equation means now P is minus 2 plus 1 of X minus 2 into minus 2. 2 into minus 2 plus 3 of Y minus 1 is equal to 0. This is the equation. Now that we got the value of P, use the value of P there to find the coefficients. P is minus 2. So minus 2 plus 1 of X minus 2P, 2 into minus 2 plus 3 into Y minus 1 is equal to 0. So what is this? Minus X. This is minus 4 plus 3 minus 1. There's a minus outside. So plus Y minus 1 is equal to 0. So this is the equation. So we were given an equation in X and Y whose coefficients were not known. The coefficient of X is P plus 1. We don't know the coefficient exactly. It's P plus 1. The coefficient of Y is minus 2P plus 3. So we are given a solution to this equation. It's a linear equation in X and Y. It has infinitely many solutions. One is given to you, 2, 3. So it will satisfy the equation. So in place of X, use 2, and in place of Y, use 3. And find the value of P. We got minus 2. Now, once you get the value of P, put it in the equation. And you can see that you get the real equation with the coefficients. Minus X plus Y minus 1 is equal to 0. So here there is no graph making and all that. Very simple question. Understood, children?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. All right. Yeah. The sum of a two-digit number and the number formed by reversing the digits is 176. The sum of a two-digit number and the number formed by reversing the digits is 176. Frame a linear equation in X and Y. So one's tens, because it's a two-digit number. One's tens. It's a two-digit number, so one's tens. So say the one's digit is X, the tens digit is Y. So what is the number? 10 into Y, 10Y plus 1 into X, 1X or X. This is the original number. What's the new number? The digits are reversed. The digits are reversed like this. So what's the expression for the new number? 10 into X plus 1 into Y. This is the expression for the new number. What is given in the question? The sum of a two-digit number. So the sum meaning they're adding two things. They're adding two things. What are they adding? They're adding the original number and the new number. The sum of a two-digit number and the number formed by reversing the digits. So they're adding, sum meaning they're adding two things. What are they adding? They're adding the original number and the new number. They're adding the original number and the new number. And what's the sum? 176. So we get 11x plus 11y is equal to 176. 11 is common. X plus y is equal to 176. 11 comes for division. So x plus y is equal to 176 by 11, which is equal to 16. Yeah, always write the equation in the standard form. So x plus y minus 16 is equal to 0.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I had completed, ma'am.
Yeah, Satakshi. Then you can send the pictures on WhatsApp and leave the meeting.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, dear. Bye. Any questions on this one, children?
No.
All right. Write the equations of two lines passing through the point -4, -7. So again, we know this theory that when we are given a point, when we are given a point, there are infinitely many lines passing through that point. There are infinitely many lines passing through this point. When we are given a point, we know that there are infinitely many lines passing through this point. And lines are geometrical, correct? Now, every line is given by a linear equation in X and Y. So that means since there are infinitely many lines passing through a given point, and all these are straight lines, and every straight line is given by a linear equation in two variables X and Y. So you can write so many equations This line will have an equation. This line will have an equation. This one will have an equation. This one will have an equation. This one, all these lines will have unique equations in X and Y. See it? This is an equation. This is a straight line. This one is a straight line. This one is a straight line. And this is its equation. This one is another straight line. This is its equation. This y-axis is a straight line. Its equation is x is equal to 0. The x-axis is a straight line. Its equation is y is equal to 0. If it's a straight line, it has an equation. It'll have a unique equation. So there is a point. There's a point given by -4, -7. The question is to write. See, we know that there are many lines passing through this point. They're just asking you to write the equations of 2 such lines passing through this point. Given a point, there are infinitely many lines passing through this point. So you can write so many equations because for every line there is an equation in X and Y. Now they're not asking you to write all the equations, which is not possible. There are many lines passing through this point. You write the equations of only 2 lines, any 2 lines passing through this point. So for that, what you do is add the 2 numbers. Now, what is this? -4, -7. This is the x value, this is the y value. All right. So when you add the x and y value, what do you get? X plus y minus 11. This is one equation, which can also be written as x plus y plus 11 is equal to 0. Now, when you subtract these two, -4 minus -7, when you subtract, what do you get? Here, the point is -4, -7. When you add -4 and -7, when you add, you get -11. So that means, that means the equation is x plus y is equal to -11 or x plus y plus 11 is equal to 0. Now you subtract the 2 values, -4, -7. Subtract the 2 values. Plus 7, which is 3. So when you subtract, that is x minus y, you get 3. So the equation is x minus y minus 3 is equal to 0. You should not multiply, because if you multiply, what will happen? If you multiply -4 and -7, you'll get 28. And what is that? xy is equal to 28 you'll get. Xy is not linear. Do not multiply the 2 numbers, because when you multiply, -4 into -7 is 28. And when you multiply, you should write x into y is equal to 28. X into y is not linear. So you should not multiply, because on multiplying, you will not get a linear equation. Now you can divide. -4 by -7. That is x by y. X divided by y is equal to -4 by -7. So what will happen? Minus and minus gets cancelled. On cross multiplying, you get 7x is equal to 4y, or 7x minus 4y is equal to 0. You can write many. I'll tell you how to write many more. So how did we write? We added the 2 numbers, -4, -7, we got -11. So when you add x and y, you get -11. When you subtract x and y, what do you get when you subtract x and y? We got 3. Don't multiply, divide. When you divide x and y, x by y. So on cross multiplying, you get 7x is equal to 4y, or 7x minus 4y is equal to 0. Now these are 3 equations. Now if you want to know Many more if you want to write 10 equations. So how to do that? Simply multiply, -4 is the x value. Say you multiply by 2. And -7 is the y value. Say you multiply by 3. So what are you doing? You're doing 2 times x. You're writing 2x. Right? This is 2x. This is 3y. What is 2x equal to? -8. What is 3y equal to? -21. Now you can do anything. You can add, if you want to add 2x and 3y, 2x plus 3y. What do you get? 2x plus 3y is equal to -29. This is another equation. This is another equation. I'll repeat this. Supposing you want to write an equation like 2x plus 3y is equal to something. Is equal to what you cannot write. That you have to find. Okay, so what is 2x? What is 2x? 2 into -4, -8. What is 3y? 3 into -7, -21. And you want to add them. So when you add, what do you get? -29. That's an equation. That is an equation. Now supposing you want to write 4x minus y is equal to what? You don't know. That you have to calculate. What is 4x? 4x means 4 into -4, -16. Minus y, which is -7. This is 4x. 4x, meaning 4 into -4, -16. Minus y, so -7. So what is -16 plus 7? It's -9. So the answer is -9. Or you can write 4x minus y plus 9 is equal to 0. So supposing you want to write x plus 3y is equal to. X plus 3y is equal to. What is x? -4. What is 3y? 3 into -7, -21. And you want to write x plus 3y. This is the x value. And this is the 3y value. 3 into y. Now you want to add x and 3y. So add. What do you get? -25. So it's equal to -25. Or x plus 3y plus 25 is equal to 0. So now you understand. You can write so many equations. So many equations you can write. You just write whatever you want and find its value. Write whatever you want and find its value. Understood this, children? Yeah, please acknowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. So here, that's what I've shown here. I've written x and y and I've added x and y, x plus y, adding the two equations. I've added the two equations, x plus y. And we get this one. Then I've subtracted x minus y is equal to, I'm subtracting these two equations. X minus y is equal to -4 minus -7. So this is one equation. Then I've written x by y is equal to -4 by -7. So on cross multiplying and all that, you get this equation. Then I want to write 2x plus 3y is equal to what? So I'm finding 2x. I'm finding 3y. This is only 2x and this is 3y. Now what do I want to do with it? I want to add 2x and 3y. So add this. What do you get? -29. And this is the equation, the standard form. I found 4x. I've just written y. And I want to subtract 4x minus y. So that means -16 minus -7. Which is -9. And in the standard form, 4x minus y plus 9 is equal to 0. All right, children?
Yes.
Okay. So this is given 1 point. Given 1 point, we know that there are infinitely many lines passing through this point. And we know that every line, every straight line has a linear equation in two variables x and y. So here there are many lines passing through the point. So there are so many equations. Of those many equations, you are asked to write two equations. That is equations of two lines passing through this point. Two is enough, but we have understood different ways of writing the equations. So this is about the first paper, children. And now with the diluted syllabus, this is more than sufficient for you because the diluted syllabus has removed graphs. I feel very sad. I don't know why the board has decided to do all this. There is some reason, but I don't know if I don't find it meaningful because it will definitely affect children ahead in life. I'm sure no teacher in 11th or 12th will come down to your 8th or 9th standard and, help you to learn how to make graphs. It's very, very easily the teacher will say that you've learned all this in your high school. You should be able to recall. But in high school, it's deleted. The portions are deleted. So as a teacher, from my end, I thought, though it is deleted, I should introduce this to you. Now that you've understood, you can develop. See, if you want to learn more about this, because you have the basics, you can explore. But if you don't know how to make graphs, it becomes very difficult. And now with this knowledge, you can help yourself better. If you want to learn more, you can refer, you can learn more. But if you don't know how to make graphs at all, then it is difficult. So from my end, I thought I should do this. Otherwise, there's nothing in linear equations. This chapter, there's nothing much for you to learn. That last exercise is completely removed. So for the syllabus you have now, this is more than sufficient. What I've told you is more than sufficient. That second paper, I'll not discuss today. I want to meet you all on Tuesday and check as to how much you have learned in your school from linear equations, because some schools are following the diluted syllabus, some schools are not following. A lot of confusion after this, syllabus being diluted. What is called the rationalized syllabus now. So some schools are following it, some schools are strictly following. If it's deleted, the teachers are relieved, like, okay, let's not do it. Some schools are doing it. So let me check with you on Tuesday and then do that second paper which I had shared the other day. This is the first paper which I had shared. The second paper which I shared with you the other day, we'll meet on Tuesday. We'll understand if we have to really do that, and then I'll proceed with that one. Okay. Yeah, now you can start working, children. Take down the questions. Class, use the emoji, raise your hand. Online students. Vishek, Srivatsan, Bhavashya, Sadhana, Sabarna, Mritsa, Anugraha, Sahana, Aragamai, Blessy, Roshni, Aniruddhan, Niveda, Krishnapriyan, Prenu, Swati, Laksha. Very good. Thank you, children. Lovely. Thank you. Yeah, children. Yeah, open your tuition notebook and please write down.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Tanya.
I completed the test, ma'am.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. You can share the pictures on WhatsApp and leave the meeting, Tanya. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes, Ovia.
ma'am, you told we'll discuss the algebra paper, right, ma'am, on Friday?
No, that was if we had the physical session, not because today is online for you. I couldn't make the physical session.
Ma'am, so
We'll do
on
on Monday.
Monday we'll be
Yeah.
discussing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, children. So first is to write the equation in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So cross multiply 3y is equal to 5x. Okay. So 3y minus 5x is equal to 0 or minus 5x plus 3y is equal to 0. Or you can also write it like this. Supposing you cross multiply 3y is equal to 5x and you bring this 3y to this side. You can even continue with this one. Supposing you change the signs throughout, that's also fine. No, you can also change the signs throughout. You can write it as 5x minus 3y is equal to 0. So you will get two sets of values for A, B, and C. The values of A, B, C, they are not unique. You'll get two sets of values. I'll just work it again for you. You don't have to rub it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work the same thing again. If you've already written it, don't rub it. See here, I said cross multiply. So you have this. And then you'll have to bring everything to one side. So you'll have minus 5x plus 3y is equal to 0. And you also know that you can change the signs throughout. So you'll have 5x minus 3y. Minus 5x becomes plus 5x. Plus 3y becomes minus 3y is equal to 0. Now you'll have to indicate the. So we've written the equation in the standard form. We have written the equation in the standard form. Now we have to write the values of A, B, and C. So what's the value of A? A is the coefficient of x, minus 5. B is the coefficient of y, 3. And C is the constant, 0. Here, A is the coefficient of x, 5. B is the coefficient of y, minus 3. C, 0. You don't have to write both the sets of values. Any one is enough, or you can write both also. So you'll get two sets of values for A, B, and C. It's actually enough if you show one, children. Done writing, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Children, I said write down this in your notebook. I hope you're not just listening to me. Please write down this in your notebook.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have sent it, ma'am.
Okay, you completed all the answers?
Yeah, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Ovia. Send the
Thank you,
pictures, and
ma'am.
if you have sent it, you can leave the call. Yeah, thank you. Good night.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Done, children?
Completed, ma'am.
Yeah,
Finished, ma'am.
very good. So the first question was to write the equation in the standard form and write the values of A, B, and C. Next question, to check if the given point is a solution. So for that, you should write the equation in the standard form. Take the x and y values given, work the LHS, and you must get 0. If you get 0, which is equal to the RHS, the equation is satisfied. That means it's a solution. Otherwise, it's not a solution. This is the left-hand side. Take x is equal to half and y is equal to -5 and work it. When you work the LHS, you must get 0, which is the RHS. In that case, it is a solution. If you don't get 0, you get something else. Then it is not a solution. If the given point is a solution, the LHS will be equal to the RHS. If the given point is not a solution, then the LHS will not be equal to the RHS. So again, here it's given that 1, 1 is a solution. It's given that 1, 1 is a solution of 2x plus 3y is equal to k. The solution means it will satisfy the equation. It will satisfy the equation. That means 2 into 1 plus 3 into 1 will be equal to k. In place of x, use 1. Y also use 1 because it's 1, 1. So 2 plus 3 is equal to k. So the value of k is equal to 5. The question is to find k and the value of k is 5. So this one is a quadratic equation. So split the middle term and find the two values for A. Split the middle term and find the two values for A. Yeah, split the middle term. What are the two values for A?
A minus 1 into A plus 3.
Bhavishya?
A minus 1 into A plus 3, ma'am.
Correct. Is equal to 0. Find the values of A. Very good.
A equals minus 3 and 1, ma'am.
Correct. Correct, Swati. Good. So on splitting the middle term, we get A square plus 3A minus 3 is equal to 0. Group it and you find the two factors A plus 3 and A minus 1. A plus 3 and A minus 1. Equate each of it to 0. A plus 3 is equal to 0. So A is equal to minus 3. A minus 1 is equal to 0. So A is 1. So these are the two values for A, minus 3 and 1. How do you split the middle term for this one?
Ma'am, minus 2k minus 3k, ma'am.
Minus 2k minus 3k. Very good, Sahana. Minus 2k minus 3k. This is k, children. Small letter k. Small letter k. Done, children? Done writing, children? Shall we go to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is alpha. It's a Greek letter alpha. Greek letter alpha, not 2. This is 2. This is alpha. So it's given if 2 are in bracket, this is the bracket. If 2 alpha plus 1, comma, alpha minus 1. If this is the solution of this equation, find alpha. So we know that solutions will satisfy the equation. Solutions will satisfy the equation. So this is the equation. This is the equation. In place of x, use 2 alpha plus 1, the x coordinate. And in place of y, use the y coordinate, alpha minus 1. In place of x, 2 alpha plus 1. In place of y, alpha minus 1. Plus 5 is equal to 0. So 4 alpha plus 2 minus 3 alpha plus 3 plus 5 is equal to 0. This is 2. So 4 alpha and minus 3 alpha is alpha. Plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 10 is equal to 0. So the value of alpha is minus 10. The value of alpha is minus 10. Done, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, one more and we'll wind up the session for today. So there's a line ax plus by is equal to 7. Okay. So say this is that line. This is that line which is 1 minute. S3, 5 somewhere here and 1, 4. 1, 4. So like this. Okay. Okay, children. So say this is that equation. Ax plus by is equal to 7. This is the graph of the equation ax plus by is equal to 7. And it's given that the points A and B, they lie on this line. The points A and B, they lie on this line. That means they'll satisfy this equation. Every point on the line will satisfy the equation. This straight line is the graph of this equation ax plus by is equal to 7. And A and B, points A and B lie on this line. So they'll satisfy the equation. So 3, 5 lies on ax plus by is equal to 7. So that means a into 3 plus b into 5 is equal to 7. So we have an equation 3a plus 5b is equal to 7. Then 1, 4 lies on ax plus by is equal to 7. So a into x is 1 plus b into y is 4 is equal to 7. A plus 4b is equal to 7. It's the second equation. Now I'll tell you how you can solve two equations like this, children. write the equations one below the other. Write the equations one below the other. So like 3a plus 5b is equal to 7 and a plus 4b is equal to 7. Write them one below the other. Now, both the a terms in both must have the same coefficient, or the b terms in both must have the same coefficients. Now here in the first equation, in the first equation, the coefficient of a is 3. In the second equation, the coefficient of a is 1. They are different. In the first equation, the coefficient of b is 5. In the second equation, the coefficient of b is 4. Again, they are different. You must make the coefficients equal. That is, the coefficient of a must be equal or b must be equal. So what you can do is you can multiply the second equation by 3. So that it becomes 3a. Now, when you multiply the equation throughout by 3, that is, you multiply the LHS by 3 and RHS by 3, you're not changing the value of the equation because you're multiplying both the left-hand side and the right-hand side by 3. So the equation is still balanced. So why we multiply the second equation by 3? Because then it will become 3a. So 3a in the first equation, 3a in the second equation. Okay. So that work you can do it here itself. That work you can do it here itself. See here. So when you write the equations, when you get the two equations, you can just look at them. 3a, but this is a only. So you can multiply this equation by 3. So you'll get 3a plus 12b is equal to 21. Call this the second equation. When you look at the two equations, the coefficients of a and b are different. So you want to make the coefficient of a or b the same. So what you do, you multiply the second equation by 3 so that it becomes 3a plus 12b is equal to 21. So 3a in the first equation, 3a in the second equation. Now write them one below the other. You can also multiply by minus 3, children. You can multiply by 3 or minus 3. Now write the equations one below the other. Now you cannot cancel 3a and 3a because both are positive. Plus 3a is plus 6a. So change the signs throughout in the second equation. Plus becomes minus, plus becomes minus, plus becomes minus. Now 3a minus 3a gets cancelled. 5b minus 12b minus 7b is equal to 7 minus 21 minus 14. So b is equal to 2. B is equal to 2. Now substitute this value of b in the first equation or in the second equation. So substitute, I'll do it here. I'll just do it here, children. So substitute b is equal to 2 in equation 1. So you get 3a plus 5 into 2 is equal to 7. 3a plus 10 is equal to 7. 3a is equal to 7 minus 10. 7 minus 10 is minus 3. So a is equal to minus 3 by minus 3, which is minus 1. So these are the values of a and b. All right, so we are given 2 points A and B, which lie on the straight line ax plus by is equal to 7. So we know that every point on the straight line will satisfy the equation. So 3, 5 lies on the line. So in place of x, use 3, and in place of y, use 5. And you get an equation 3a plus 5b is equal to 7. In the same way, 1, 4 lies on the line. So in place of x, 1, in place of y, 4, you get another equation in a and b. Now compare the two equations. The coefficients of a and b, they're not the same. So you want to make the coefficients of a equal. A is 3a in the first equation. So you want to make it 3a in the second equation. How? By multiplying it by 3. So that gives you 3a plus 12b is equal to 21. Now write the equations one below the other. But 3a and 3a is 6a. You want to cancel it. So change the signs throughout. 3a minus 3a, 0. Then 5b minus 12b minus 7b is equal to 7 minus 21, which is minus 14. We change the signs throughout in the second equation, because only then you can cancel 3a and minus 3a. So on working this, you get b is 2. Now substitute b is 2 in any one of the two equations, equation 1 or equation 2. You will get the value of a. Now supposing in the two equations, you want to make the coefficients of b equal. So b is 5b in the first one and 4b in the second one. So what is the LCM of 5 and 4? Always we take the LCM only. See here the coefficient was 3. Here it is 1. So the LCM of 1 and 3 is 3. In the same way here, the LCM of the coefficients 5 and 4. See, this is 5b. So 5. 4b, which is 4. 5 and 4 is 20. So you in both the equations, you can make it 20b. So how will you make a 20b in the two equations? To make this 20b, you should multiply this equation by 4. To make this one 20b, you should multiply this equation by 5. See, you can multiply an equation throughout by any number other than 0. Because you're multiplying the LHS and the RHS by that number. So the equation is not disturbed. If you want to make the coefficients of b equal, the LCM of 5 and 4 is 20. So you can make them 20b. So multiply this one by 4. Just write it in the next slide. Three A 5B 7, 3A 5B 7, 3A 4B 4B 7, 4B 7. Yeah. So multiply this equation by 4 and this one by 5. So what will happen? 12A plus 20B is equal to 28. Because 4 into 3 is 12. 12A plus 20B is equal to 28. This will become 5A plus 20B is equal to 35. Again, change the signs throughout. Minus, minus, minus. So you get 12A minus 5A, 7A. This gets cancelled. Plus 20B minus 20B cancels. Is equal to 28 minus 35, minus 7. So A is equal to minus 7 by 7, which is minus 1. See, that's what we got here. A is minus 1. Now, after getting minus 1, you should substitute the value of A, which is minus 1, in any one of the two equations. So you can take this equation, A plus 4B is equal to 7. Take A as minus 1. So 4b is equal to 7 plus 1, 8. B is equal to 2. So that's what we got here also. B is equal to 2. So you can also make the coefficient of B equal. And if you want to cancel, they must have opposite signs. If they have the same signs, you cannot cancel. Their coefficients will be should be the same and the signs should be opposite. So if needed, you can change the signs throughout on the second equation. Any questions, children?
No, ma'am.
Finish writing, all of you? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. Okay, let me check how many of you are still alert at the end of the meeting. Class, use the again, raise your hand. So it's Roshni, Abhishek, Krishna Priyan, Bhavishya, Prenu, Niveda, Anugraha, Laksha, Sadhna, Sabarna, Regamai, Mritsa, Srivatsan, Blessy, Sahana, Aniruddhan, Roshni, Swati, Roshni, and Aniruddhan, are you there? Roshni, yes. No problem. All right, children. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Good night. You may leave the call. Thank you, children. Good night. Thank you. Good night, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.